Un, deux, trois. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome on the PwC stand. We are very pleased to welcome you for this first talk of the day. And I'm especially pleased to welcome basically Betty and Dan. And thank you for accepting our invitation to share your experience in terms of data-driven commercial transformations. By way of introductions, I will try to sum up your two brilliant careers. It will be difficult in few words, but I will try to make it efficient. And I will start with Betty. Betty, you are the Global Chief Commercial Transformation Officer of L'Oréal Consumer Product Division since February 2021. Before that, you occupied many positions in Mars, another quite famous FMCG worldwide leader. You have been, in fact, sales director in Ireland, your native country. Then BU head of Mars Chocolate Business, global category director, and later global chief commercial officer for Mars Pet Nutrition, before joining the L'Oréal family. Then, hello, thank you. You are the managing director of Anaplan for the EMEA region. Prior to Anaplan, you have been spending 12 years in Dell Technologies, more recently as Senior Vice President and General Manager for the UK. And prior joining Dell, in fact, you held several positions at BMC, PTC in many countries, and you have been facing quite interesting cultural, in fact, management expositions. To get started and to initiate the discussions, Betty, L'Oréal main mission is basically to invent the beauty of tomorrow, and there is plenty of very interesting examples just here. To support this mission, L'Oréal has decided a few years ago to become a beauty tech company. What does that mean exactly to be a beauty tech company, especially when you are the chief commercial officer of this company?
Good morning, everybody. Yes, L'Oréal is a beauty tech company. And what that means is it's integrated into everything we do. It's not a project. It's not owned by one function or one division. We believe that tech is the future of beauty, and we believe that tech is going to offer our consumers a more personalized, individualized and sustainable beauty future for them. And if you want to find out more, you can go, as Philippe said, to our booth, because there you'll see products like we have today, like L'Oréal Paris Beauty Genius, which is a tech-enabled phone app that allows every consumer to get very, very tailored targeting about makeup looks, about skincare diagnostics, etc. So that's in terms of services to our consumers. But when I say it's integrated into our whole business, we use tech and we use data, and we have tons and tons of data, troves of data, because we operate in 150 markets with 37 brands, and we use that data to be able to test and predict our formulas a lot better. But in sales specifically, what we use it for is demand planning. And I'll come on to that a little bit later. Demand planning in the beauty category is very difficult these days. We also use data and tech to give us more precision around pricing and consumer willingness to pay, and to analyze everything we do. But it sounds like great, L'Oréal is a beauty tech company, but actually we've been on a huge journey, because L'Oréal is a very entrepreneurial business. We've 4 divisions in 150 markets, and being entrepreneurial meant that everybody was doing their own thing. We had no one common solution, and most of the tech solutions that we had were probably not fit for purpose. So it's been quite a journey. It's where I spend a lot of my time, because my job is to make everything that we do in commercial very fast, very data-driven, very responsive, because that's what the beauty category is. It's on fire at the moment, and we've got to be able to respond to the demands of our consumers and customers.
So you already, in fact, mentioned some of the subjects that you are dealing with when we talk about data-driven, in fact, commerce transformations. But can you give us a bit more of scope, ambitions for the commerce transformation within L'Oréal driven by AI and data?
Sure, and I guess our journey started a couple of years ago, but really got accelerated post the pandemic, because we saw big changes, so massive shift in our business to the online channel, and a huge new role for influencer marketing. And in commerce, it's great for growth. It's meant that we're selling an awful lot more products, but it makes the lives of our commercial teams and our operations teams more challenging. For example, when we launch a product, if that product is backed by an influencer, you can actually sell a whole year's volume in just 1 week. So good for sales, bit of a nightmare. So out of the pandemic, we started a program, what we call the Next program, which is how do we build our agility, our responsiveness, and all leveraging data to really understand the areas around next planning was one area, next promo, next value, which is how do we really create value and drive premiumization, but also drive volume growth as well. And all these programs really have data at the center and agility, trying to drive the agility of our business. So those programs are in place now 4 years, and they're all interconnected as well. So all equipping us to drive the business faster.
And now, do you already identify some business impact, some result, concrete?
Yes. For sure, at L'Oréal, we're a performance-driven company, so you must get results. If I break it down, so we have a next planning tool that actually we have developed in partnership with Anaplan and yourselves. And this next planning tool we have now rolled out to just 12 markets so far. But in those 12 markets, what we're seeing is forecast accuracy increase by an average of 3%. But even in our sophisticated markets, it's higher. Like in the UK, it's closer to 10%. So that's a really, really big shift in terms of performance, but not just in terms of our ability to forecast accuracy, forecast more accurate, but for our teams as well, the user satisfaction, and it is a brilliant and very user-friendly tool. The user satisfaction is around 4.5 out of 5. So that's on next planning. On Next Value, which is mainly a revenue growth management tool, there we have rolled that, we're in the process of rolling it out to 2,000 users across all of our businesses. And that really has helped us to drive revenue growth management at a much, much better level. So now for us in CPD, the Consumer Products Division, we're now able to see about 50% of our growth coming from value growth and 50% coming from unit growth. And then on promo, this is our latest tool. On promo, we are expecting for sure a 10% efficiency in our promo spends. And we actually, in the division I work in, Consumer Products Division, we spend more on promo than we do on media. So a 10% efficiency is very, very important. But I think with all these tools, it's not just the business impact, it's the confidence it gives to the leaders in the business to have the courage to do something different, because with retailers we're used to doing the same thing all the time. So having to convince our retailers to do something different, it has to be backed by data, it has to be backed by science. So to me, the confidence is really the big game changer.
That's interesting. And looking back, what were the main challenges that you have been facing to be able to generate such huge impact on your business?
Challenges, there were a lot. As I say, we are an entrepreneurial business, and when you're an entrepreneurial business, it's a culture change. Number one, when you're trying to standardize and say there's one solution and that's it. So the challenge, I think, was around changing the culture, but also I think as well, if we look back, we didn't get it all right. We started in the Consumer Products Division because their sales or commercial is probably the most advanced. But if we had our time back, we would have done it different. We would have started with all divisions, because the reality is you're going to a market once, twice, 3 times. That's too much pressure on the market. So I think our key learning would be to start, with a clearer North Star and work to that from the start. I think some of the other challenges that we faced, and I'm sure it's the same for every company, but data cleaning, it takes a lot of time. So if I give an example in the US, where we're trying to build an AI tool around promo, it took us 2 years to clean our data, because people were inputting promotions, naming it one thing when you're selling to one retailer, naming it something different in another. So 2 years kind of was a bit of a surprise to us. And with that change management, it takes longer. It probably takes longer to drive the aftercare than it does to implement the project itself. And I think that's been a big learning for us. But the one thing I think that we did get right, and it does make you go slower at the start, is we had top management fully involved from the start. And at L'Oréal, people are very involved in the details of the business. So the ExCo, they know exactly, they've been in the business for many, many years. They know exactly what they want. And when things go wrong, and they did go wrong, having the sponsorship of the ExCo to be there to push it to try again was definitely something we got right.
Yeah, I confirm. And according to basically where you are now in the development of this program, what are your ambitions or your dreams for the coming months in terms of innovations, AI, Gen AI applications, in terms of commerce?
I think firstly it's to scale what we have. So we're only in 12 markets and primarily in one division. We're starting to take it across all the divisions at L'Oréal. So we want to scale this and have it everywhere. So that's the main thing. But then, yes, it's to broaden the program so that we can bring in all commercial programs. So what our field sales team do, all of the commercial apps, we need to bring that in all under the head of this next program. And then after that, it's, yes, a lot of what we're doing today is still analyzing what we've done. The shift I think we need to do with AI is to get better at simulation and predicting, which is not easy in our industry because beauty is an offer-driven category. You get what you put in the market. So we're always bringing new disruptive innovations to the market. So how can we leverage AI to help us understand and predict that better? So I think the shift will be more to predictive rather than post-analysis. And then the other piece that maybe at a tech event doesn't seem as relevant, but the other thing that we're going to be focusing on is we've invested in huge amounts in our talent. So we have amazing people that have now been driving this digital transformation at L'Oréal. They are a golden asset to us. They really are. So looking after the careers of those people and making sure that when you do a tech transformation, you can go on and have a long career back in the business at L'Oréal is something we'll be investing into.
That's a very good point. Then, in fact, you are quite well known. Anaplan is quite well known in the field of finance and supply chain. You have been recognized by the Gartner in the Magic Quadrant one more time this year. But you can be perhaps less well perceived in the field of marketing and sales transformations. And I know that you have been partnering with Betty on this commerce transformations. Can you tell us a bit more about the position of Anaplan and how you help basically corporate like L'Oréal to improve their commerce transformation?
Yeah, it's very interesting because in France we're very well known for supply chain. But globally about 75% of our clients do finance, supply chain, but we sell to 4 areas in the organization. Clearly financial transformation, then we look at supply chain transformation, we integrate with workforce transformation so you understand what people you have and what people you need, and then finally what we call sales performance management, which at L'Oréal we call BPM or next planning. So we're well recognized in all 4 categories, and the benefit of Anaplan is we talk a lot about connected planning. So we're able to connect together the data from sales, from finance, from supply chain, and from HR, so the ExCo can make intelligent decisions very quickly. And in Betty's case, the market is rapidly moving. You spoke about COVID. We talk about macro events that you can't control, whether they be wars that disrupt supply chain or influencers that sell out your mascara in a week instead of a year. It's that ability to do real-time planning and to adjust that makes Anaplan unique, because we do it in real time and you can always trust the data. So you're no longer aggregating Excel spreadsheets from 12 different countries and trying to make a decision on a monthly, 6-monthly cycle. We have organizations that are making decisions on daily cycles, because that's how fast the world is moving today.
And I think that the partnership between L'Oréal and Anaplan is larger than only the commerce field. It's quite a long story, a love story now for a few years.
Yeah, we've been partnered with L'Oréal for 5 years now. We started with a replenishment project around a replenishment of point of sale environments for 1,900 point of sale people. That was our first use case. We've grown to over 20 use cases today. So in research and innovation, in R&D, in finance, in a number of areas where the technology has been leveraged to automate business processes. The BPM project that we've been working on now for 3 years. As you said, we've rolled out to 12 countries and there's more there. And actually I'm very happy with what we've been able to achieve and the stability we've achieved in terms of aggregating the 8 or 12 different forecasting models that were existing in those 12 countries to get to one system with one single source of truth. So great partnership with L'Oréal, recognized as a strategic partner in 2022, and for us it's just the beginning of the relationship.
And I heard that the BPM project that you just mentioned was a quite special project for Anaplan. You can tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, it was a special project. It's always great.
To work with L'Oréal is always special.
We have a lot of special customers around here. So L'Oréal, I would say, is the most special in the most positive way. L'Oréal is a performance business. And when you're involved in BPM and involved in sales, it's great fun, but you're on the cutting edge because we're involved in forecast accuracy. We're involved in stock out efficiency. So there's not a lot of time to make mistakes there. And there's not a lot of time from an IT perspective to take 2 years to produce a product. So one of the great advantages that we've had is we have a very rapid development cycle. We're able to iterate in a 3-month basis. So we're able to respond very quickly to a dynamic changing. So BPM continues to be a special project for us. I'm sure, as you've said, many things have gone wrong, but with the support of the ExCo and the support of the partnership and the governance model we've had in place, we have a true partnership on really how we underpinning the innovations that L'Oréal need to make to succeed in today's marketplace.
And Betty mentioned that the next step in terms of AI for L'Oréal is big topics like everybody. How Anaplan intend to contribute to it?
Well, I mean, we've had machine learning and AI in our system for the last 4 years, and it continues to evolve, and organizations are in different phases of their AI journey. 4 years ago, it was all about machine learning and predictive analysis. So now we have a technology that allows you to do predictive forecasting based on different data sets built into Anaplan. However, when you work with an organization as sophisticated as L'Oréal, you have your own data science teams and your own AI engines because you want to take it to a sophisticated level. So we have this technology we call Bring Your Own Engine. And the partnership we're doing in conjunction with Google at L'Oréal is leveraging the AI engine of L'Oréal and then executing on that. Because it's great that you get these insights, but how do they feed into your forecasts? How do you run multiple scenarios in each country to figure out which promo is likely to work? And that's the beauty of Anaplan. We're able to bring the data into a central system and then run different scenarios, either based on, crazy events or great opportunities, and then you can make decisions very quickly with the data on where you should place your bets. And in retail, it's all about placing bets. So that's been the journey. As Gen AI becomes more popular, and the last year has been super entertaining, it brings a lot of capabilities to the market. And a lot of the capabilities are accessing the insights in the data. Because having worked in data for a long time, it's not about getting the data, it's about having too much data and having the right data at the right time. So we're looking at technologies and implementations where we're using natural language query so that you can pull up your cell phone and say, hey, Anaplan, tell me in South Africa what is the lowest selling beauty product that's threatening for stock out, and should I run a promo that reduces the price by 25%? That takes a team of data scientists today. Tomorrow it's just a question of talking to your phone. And because all the data is there, it will then present you that technology. So a lot of interesting things to come, not just around machine learning, but also leveraging Gen AI in that area.
And Betty, from a business perspective, as commercial officer and not a tech expert, what are your expectations with regard to AI and Gen AI? What do you think that will be very useful and impactful in the coming years?
For me, it's going to replace all the repetitive tasks that we do today. So whether that's planning, baseline planning, or promo management, but really, I think again going back to our business is an offer-driven category. So we need tech to help us understand what how the consumer is likely to react more. And therefore, as Dan was saying, this connectivity of everything we do, like customer care, consumer research, everything, how can Gen AI help us to do that and to do that really, really quickly?
The view and to consolidate all the view and sources of data.
Yes, yeah. Because in the end, that's what we want to do. We're spending a lot of time trying to figure out how do we free up the time of our marketeers and our salespeople, because you cannot, with all the great advances in tech, you still can't ignore the human magic. And we want our marketeers to still be with consumers. We want our sales teams to be still spending a lot of time out with their customers, but backed up by this science. So we don't want to lose that human element neither. But you can't do both with the same people. So you have to rely on tech to help you.
Okay, I think it's time for the questions in the audience, if we have. Do we have questions? Nobody have questions? Yes, I have questions.
Hello, thank you. It was a great session. My name is Amalia. I was from one of the country in Asia. I always look up to the L'Oreal because it was a fantastic company, and your booth and all your showcasing is very good. I have two questions. The first question is that you mentioned about the next program was starting like 4 years ago. My question is that when you were about to start, there are so many data, right? Which one is actually the first things you choose to do? Because handling commercial, promotion management, all these things. What are the first things that you pick to be fixed and help you to grow? My second question is about the transformation. You said that digital transformation is very important in building a beauty tech company. Within the commercial itself, the functions that you manage, whether that tech transformation is embedded into commercial or it's part of other functions. So your commercial is becoming a client or recipients.
Thank you. Two great questions, and actually I'm glad you asked particularly the second one. But where did we start? As I said, the next program covers a lot. We started in two areas. Next, planning, because honestly, and this is for such a great tech company today, and tech in terms of our consumer offering. I hate to say it, but actually when it came to planning, we were very poor. We were sometimes doing it on Excel in some markets. And in some of our units, big units, we were just doing it at a very, very top line. So that had to change. So planning is where we started. And also, I think everybody was impacted with service levels during the pandemic. We were very slow to come out of that because the beauty category had changed so much. So that was one of the first areas. And then the second area was what we called next A&P. Because we spend a lot on media, on advertising, and again, there's big changes there with the advance of retail media, and retail media is becoming so big now. So understanding the ROIs of all different media types was really important. So they're the two places that we started. And then in terms of how embedded is tech within all of our teams, it took a while. As I say, the change management did take a while. And one of the things, it's great to have the tech, but what we haven't said is that before embedding the tech, we spend a lot of time on the process. So we have what we call the way we plan process, and we go in and we do an assessment with the markets to make sure that the process is in place and then the tech follows. And that's where a lot of actually the change happens. But it is fully embedded, because one of the things that we do, yes, we use partners like PwC to help us with the project management and the change management, but the people that are on these projects within L'Oreal are coming from our commercial teams. So they are business experts. At L'Oreal, we have what we call L'Oreal babies, so people that are in the business all their life. So they know the business inside out. They know the details of the business inside out. So they've been the ones driving the change. And actually, it's been really easy because they're up for it. And what we miss on tech, what we miss on change management and project management, we bring in. But it's the business expertise is from within our own teams. And they're great teams. I'm thrilled to have them and work with them every day.
Sure. Another question?
Hello, I'm Gozalia from France. You mentioned that this BPM project is focused on 12 countries. So I'm just curious, are they all in the West? Or you specifically selected specific countries that are easier to work with or you have more data in?
No, we started, our first pilot was in the UK. And again, it's part of our journey. When we started with the UK wanted a solution for the UK. And it started like that for the first 6 months. And then we said, stop, we're going to make this a global solution. But no, the 12 markets, where do they come from? We pick our top markets. So where do we have our biggest turnover? So it's all over the world. So, you know, Australia is part of it. Mexico, probably the easiest implementation, I think, in Mexico. Brazil, Indonesia. So all of these markets. India is coming up as well. So it's going to be everywhere, all over the world. The US is going to be our biggest market, and that's ahead of us. That's going to come in the next 2 years.
Yeah, and I think we're in 12 markets today, but there's a rollout plan. And there's a very intelligent rollout plan because, as Betty said, it's about getting the process and the user stories right before you implement the tech. And going back to the previous question, one of the advantages of Anaplan is it's very much business owned. So if you have an intelligent person that understands an Excel spreadsheet, it's very easy to teach them the tech. And the way the system is designed is you can have some local variances. So the UK can have a slight variance to France, to Indonesia, and to Mexico, but it's still the same source data. So you get the benefit of personalization for the market, but then standardization for the global data set. So it's highly flexible for that, and that's what most of our clients experience. And L'Oreal's a great example, because as you know, as you enter new markets, while there may not actually be variances, there's the impression of variances. Because you know the UK is special and Australia is special. So you have to cater for both of that if you're going to drive successful adoption.
Another question? I think it will be more or less the last one.
So do you think the implementation of AI in companies right now, specifically in L'Oreal or any other of your clients, will actually force the companies to downsize? And how would they be forced to reallocate their efforts or their workforce while remaining efficient in competitive markets?
I think there's, I'm a tech optimist. There's all this talk about AI replacing jobs, but I go back to what Betty said. What AI does, if I just look in the world of planning, if I look at planning today, 80% of the time people spend is collecting the data and arguing about which set of data is the correct set. 20% is actually bringing the insights of what they're skilled to do. And I don't believe that we have an excess of talented people. That's why there's always a talent war out there. And Betty said it. We're very focused on hiring the best talent and putting them to work to do their jobs. Their jobs are not the mundane task of aggregating 17 spreadsheets just to get to a common answer before you can do your job. So what we tend to do with our technology is we take that away, and that gives you back weeks of time for you to focus on, right, the insights into retail. We give you the ability to run scenarios. So what we're seeing is a shift in what you do, not a shift in the labor force. So this ability to automate mundane tasks just gets faster. And most of the use cases I see for AI today are the mind-numbing work that you have to do to comb through copious sets of data to get to a prediction that someone can then react to. And it's only when you get that prediction that you can react to it. We were talking at an example earlier. It's very easy to get incremental innovation on an existing product it's very difficult to predict new products to the market. So you want your best talent focused on predicting that accurately, because if you sell out a product, a year's worth of supply in a week, you've lost 51 weeks of sales. Or contrary, if you make a bet on a particular component and that doesn't shift, you've got obsolete inventory that you need to manage. And that's actually the job. The job is not aggregating the data. So, we try to take that away, and I think AI will help take that away. And then, it's like the Industrial Revolution. Before you did things manually, and then you bought a machine that made you more efficient so you could build more. It's exactly the same with data today.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your questions. Have a good day. Enjoy Vivatech.